We're talking about Season 2, Episode 3 of Picard. This is our general review, and we're going to start at the top, and we're going to start with the Confederation presidential lackeys beaming onto the ship and taking out Elnor. What'd you think about this, Shane?
Yeah. Well, they shot him. Well, you know, it was kind of a weird situation. When you disintegrate your enemies, it feels kind of weird. You ever notice that?
Yeah,
like in Star Trek,
everyone disintegrated but Elnor, which was weird to me too.
Well, it's like when I know they had to do it. Like I knew that it had to happen. You can't exactly take prisoners in the future with you.
Right.
So it makes sense. It just kind of felt very not Trek-ish.
Right.
You know, this whole, phaser set to, emulsion.
Obliterate.
Right. Right. But that's fine. So it was a means to an end. I was okay with it. Elnor getting shot, no big deal. I didn't really think much of it. And what was interesting was the Borg Queen kind of taking command of the ship.
Right.
That's not something I think we expected to have happen. Essentially, she just takes over and she basically saves them. Right. But it also is fishy.
Yeah. So another thing too. Okay. And someone said, what was up with the photon torpedo being green or something? And I'm like, that's not right. Is a photon was it all of a sudden green when the Borg Queen shot the torpedo?
I hope not. I mean,
yeah. So check this out.
Not necessary.
Ready? Look at this. So she takes over the ship.
Oh, there's green. They are green. You're right.
Yeah,
that's not necessary. I mean, so am I gonna freak out about it?
I like the fact that the Borg whole aesthetic is green or whatever. That's cool.
Yeah.
But these ships apparently just didn't have shields. They just fired a couple of torpedoes directly at the and I know I don't want to be nitpicky here. I don't, because I really want to look. I've made it very clear that I really want to enjoy this. Again, I need something to look forward to, guys. Okay. Life is hard sometimes. But she fires a couple of torpedoes and just completely destroys those ships at the deflector dish. They're green. Boom. Pop them. It just seemed way too easy. Like, did they not have shields?
Right.
There's something else that could have been done there. Also, those ships to me, I don't know. I don't like the ships very much. I don't like how easy it was that they dispatched those people so quickly. I understand not leaving the body behind or whatever, but there's just some inconsistencies. And again, I don't want to be nitpicky because I want to like the show, but they could have just had maybe it hit the shields and the ships were disabled.
Something like that. Yeah, and also the fact that basically what you're saying is the Borg, whatever she did to upgrade the ship is so powerful. She essentially took them out with one shot each, which is kind of weird. But
how did they lose with that kind of technology? How did they lose to the Confederation in the first place? That's my question.
That's a really good point. I don't think they thought. I think that a lot of this was a throwaway. Like those guys coming on board to confront them. They just needed to get out of the way. Those ships were just getting in the way from us going back in time. What I find intriguing about the whole first part of this is that the Borg Queen takes over. And how bad does she want to go to the past, bro? That's all I got to say. This was her from the beginning, right? She's the one who knew where they were supposed to go, when it was supposed to happen. She's the one with the sly smiles. She just took them to the past, basically. All by herself.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, it's either she goes in the past with the ragtag team of dimension hoppers or whatever they're called, or she stays in the Confederation and dies to these comically horrible racist villains.
No, you're right, but I just thought it was weird. She's the only one that even mentioned. It's just like it happens. It's all her. Right. It's all her going, we're going into the past. I mean, it wasn't like Picard saying, everybody get ready or man your positions, or whatever. It was it was like she just took control and went. And I thought that was...
We're going.
It was almost like they were you know, they were going whether they liked it or not. Of course, they wanted to go, but you know, and then you know, the stuff with Elnor that shocked me. That caught me by surprise. He's on the bed. You know, basically they've got to choose. The Borg Queen has jumped them back in time, and you know she's basically sucking all the power out of the ship so that she can stay, so that she can survive.
Right.
And in doing so, takes the power from the bio bed, which is then killing Elnor.
Right.
And surprising us into the fact where it actually didn't surprise me completely. I'll tell you, this is the funny thing. When you've been doing this for a really long time, there's little tells that give things away.
Yeah.
And when he asked for the medallion and Rafi paused just too long to inspect it, you knew when she looked back at him, he was gone. And there was that moment where you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And
now,
so, go ahead.
Here's a theory. I don't think Elnor's dead.
Well, he is dead.
He's not.
But when time changes, he'll be back.
No, he's not dead in this timeline either.
You know, I was thinking about that. We should have gone through. We need to go through and check the clips and see if we see him later.
Ready? Check us out. There's gonna be a moment where they go back to the ship, and they probably take back someone with them that's dangerous, and Elnor is gonna surprise everyone and save the day because he is in a Vulcan comatose coma.
Oh, come on. All right. No, listen, that's going to...
He slowed his heart rate to the point to save his body. Like, they made a point of making sure that the bleeding had stopped. And they also made a point of saying, we don't have a tricorder.
Okay.
So their assessment of him being dead is solely based on the same technology we have today, me touching my fingers to your neck and feeling your heart rate.
Okay, well then that's really going to make me mad. So if that happens, it's going to make me mad because what was the point? And this is the one big problem I have with Picard, especially with season 1, is plot devices. Why kill Elnor? To get Rafi off the ship? Like you shouldn't do things to people to motivate the characters and then magically bring them back later. I hate that. So if they do that, that will be stupid. If they change time and Elnor's still alive, great. And he goes into season 3. If they say, hey kid, you're sitting on the sidelines this season, you know, maybe. No. There's only so many moving parts they can have anyways.
He's in a Vulcan Romulan hybrid. Coma. He put himself into this coma so that his body would heal. But why did it make such a big point of saying we don't have a tricorder? Don't worry, we got the bleeding. We got the bleeding stopped with these special band-aids, and we don't have a tricorder.
Well, that was said well before he died, right?
Right. The way they determined his death was
checking his pulse, I guess.
Right.
Well, I mean, is that a normal thing? I'm just telling you, if they do that, they can very well do that. I will not like it, and it will be a shitty part of the story. So if they do that and bring him back and use his death, his pointless... What was the point then?
Hey, Archmage Bray just said, in Voyager 7 brought back Neelix over 24 hours after he died with a few nanoprobes.
Yes, we know it's possible, Archmage. Absolutely. But let me ask you this, Brian, seriously.
Right.
What is the point of killing Elnor then?
Conflict.
No, what?
All right. So what was the point of
without meaning?
What was the point of there being two different teams being beamed aboard? Oh, it's because they don't have the relays in space or something. So the transporter, had to kick them into two different areas. Well, that is also for conflict. Because it couldn't transport them all at the same time to LLA, so it transported them in weird places. That's right. Also to drive story, because it'd be too easy if they all just transport at the same place, right?
But that's a minor speed bump dumb thing. This is a colossal dumb thing to kill Elnor so that Rafi gets mad and we get some emotion.
It'd be way too easy if they stayed on the ship, formulated a plan, got the reserves, figured out where the watcher was, all went down there together. No, there needs to be an adventure in 2024, which means Rafi needs to lose her mind at Picard, get super hormonal because her surrogate child died, lash out at Picard and then run off into the transporter and go down to the surface where she's inevitably going to get into trouble, and it's going to make their job of finding the Watcher and fixing the future harder.
They didn't need to kill him to do it. They could have simply said, we don't know how to find the Watcher, and come up with the same plan. They didn't have to kill Elnor to get him off the ship. They could have simply decided this plan and got separated in the transporter. It didn't need to be this, and this is my problem.
But she needed to rush off in a hurry, Shane, so that they didn't have time to position the ship over L.A. and all beam down together. They needed
They can't position the ship over L.A. It's crashed.
Or whatever. Find a way to get there together. They needed a way for the beam to, they need to be in a hurry. Everything needs to be in a hurry.
I don't think so.
Ralphie
I don't think that was
necessary. In a hurry to find the Watcher.
I beg to disagree. I don't believe it was necessary to kill Elnor to get him off the ship. I think it's cheap, and if that's the case, if they kill him and he's gone until later in the show, for whatever reason, and he comes back with some meaningful way, then I'm okay with that. But if he was simply resting really, really aggressively, then I'm not going to like that at all.
Did you say resting aggressively?
Yes, he's resting aggressively. Much more powerfully resting than we can rest, so therefore we don't know.
Archmage phrase with the save again. My brother, the same reason they killed Icheb in season 1 to piss off Seven to make her reckless.
And I agree. I didn't like that either. And who liked Icheb getting killed? It all pissed off. It made all of us mad then too, right? So, but the problem is there's no alternate timeline or different universe to bring Icheb back. So at least we know Elnor can return at some point.
Right. Well, I guess I agree with you.
I get what you're saying. You're trying to justify what they're doing. And my thing is I'm okay if they kill him so they get him off the ship. But if they just bring him right back and make his death pointless, then that will frustrate me.
I'm just a little annoyed that we didn't get that moment where they were trying to they put a bandana on him to hide his crazy ears and eyebrows.
Oh yeah, like they did in Spock and
yeah, listen,
that's true.
Missed
that's
a prime opportunity for some classic Spock shenanigans.
Right. They didn't need to kill Elnor at all in this episode. It just wasn't necessary. But how do you
think about this? As the only non-human, imagine him being even more of an alien, a fish out of water in 2024, right?
I was kind of expecting something like that.
Yeah. Instead, you get I just don't believe for a moment that Raffi doesn't know where the picture is or Seven.
No, it was 7 of 9. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that.
It was the lingo. It was the lingo. It's like
Raffi knew what it was. How did
or that Raffi knew? Well, and Seven also grew up sheltered, so it's not But what do you think? Before we get to that point, what do you think about? We got to talk a little bit about Raffi's response, right? So she's obviously in bitter turmoil, and for me, at the beginning of that, I was getting I was not liking that. I was not liking Raffi's response. It actually took me getting through the entire thing, her yelling at Picard, which I didn't like either, and then realizing, okay, I got to put myself in her shoes for a second and figure out realistically what this character would do in this situation, and is it right? And as much as you don't like the feel of it and you hope that she kind of snaps out of it once she gets out and about a little bit, it does feel like an appropriate response. And since she's got to get mad at somebody, Q's not there for her to be angry at. Picard's really the closest thing she's got to as a connection to Q, right? Can't kill the Borg Queen.
I also feel like she gaslit Q a little bit more there, or strawmanned him with making sure the audience heard her explain that Q was what changed it. It feels like they keep throwing that out there so that the audience is the sleight of hand is real. They're distracting the audience. I
still don't believe it's him. Our theory's still holding up. 3 episodes in,
which is what, frankly speaking, way longer than it usually holds up.
This is true, yeah, usually, but it's still hold up. We'll have to see what happens, but I still am not sure that Q is the reason they're there.
Hey, Kenneth in the members section said, "Nice hat, Brian."
Oh,
I got my new podcast hat. I got
it
one
is
for
a nice
Shane
hat
too, but Shane, I haven't given it to him yet.
Bring it close to the camera so we can see what it looks like. I haven't seen it yet. Woo! Popcast top. What is that?
Pop culture historians.
Pop culture historians. I like it.
Yeah. He also said, put into a coma so the body can repair itself. So Kenneth is agreeing with me.
I think Kenneth is just giving you reasoning. I don't think he's agreeing that it's a good idea. I have not yet heard anybody say, yeah, that would be great for the show.
Get out of here.
But let's see. Okay, so wait. So Rafi's response, she gets off. So Picard, this is something interesting that happened. So when they, get off the ship, Picard and Jurati have to figure out how to get the Queen revived, right?
Right.
So Picard made this comment that I thought was really interesting. He explained assimilation as something that feels good. Did you notice that?
Oh, really?
He said assimilation feels good. And almost as if to say, when you're assimilated, you don't want to fight it because it feels good. And maybe that's like a tactic the Borg used to make assimilation, to make people not to fight assimilation.
I mean, that would make sense. Like when a mosquito bites you, they have that enzyme that, numbs your skin, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's other animals other parasites that purposely have enzymes and chemicals that make it so that it's not uncomfortable for the host.
Yeah, so it sort of makes sense, but it's the first time we've heard it, and it's an interesting... It would actually change kind of a lot about what we know about the Borg.
Dude, Seven can assimilate me anytime.
Let's see here. So that's one thing. We get to see like trashy homelessness, which is a reality in our time.
Do you remember when we were? I don't know if you remember this, but we were like, the budget for shooting in LA must have been insanely high because they would have to CG out all the garbage.
We kept saying that, right? No, they didn't, man.
Nope. You guys think that's not how Los Angeles looks?
That is exactly how Los Angeles looks.
They saved a ton of money. That's
the first place they beamed down. Dude, she beamed down in the middle of basically a homeless trash heap, which is what so much of it is.
You guys, that is Los Angeles. And everyone thinks we're being hyperbolic or exaggerating. No. That's the majority. You drive down LA, there's entire alley, like entire streets that are just now unpassable with cars.
Yeah,
they've become communes.
Yeah, if you drive down, a lot of the overpasses are just filled with tents and long-term shelters.
Long-term.
Right.
Like the city was like, you know what? Here's some porta potties. Good luck.
Right. Jerry Ryan was really good in this episode. Even though, she's been great in every episode so far. She's really taking 7 of 9 to a new place. The interaction she has with that little girl that says, "Are you a superhero?" And she's like, can you keep a secret?"
Yeah.
And then, she convinces that security guard to basically let him stay up there on top of the building. Like, these are not normal 7 qualities. Like, she can't usually do that.
Yeah. Is this making you wish that this show was called Star Trek 7 of 9? A little bit, right?
She's doing the best job, I think, of anybody.
Because even though we love Picard and Patrick Stewart, you can tell that his age is playing a significant role in a lot of the things he is capable of doing.
Well, this is the first episode we saw it in. He had to stay on the ship. Picard would have never stayed on the ship.
Also, when they beamed aboard, he couldn't do anything. When Rios was doing stuff, he was calling for help, and Picard's just sitting there and it just feels like he can't do a lot of the stuff that they need him to do. And it makes sense. He's very old in real life.
He is. It's not like, what are you going to expect this 8-decade-old actor to be jumping around and do? Of course not. But it does take away from Picard and the way they bring the character together. He's not totally over the hill, right? That's not the way this character is demonstrated in this show. He's not that he's unable to do things. He's, one step away from a walker. That's not the way this character is brought up. But in reality, he's not far from there.
Right, and he's literally always leaning on something. It's very hard not to see.
Yeah, so while I would say Patrick Stewart's doing better this season probably than he did last season, there's definitely those weak moments, and him being on the ship with Jurati and the Borg, and almost him not taking the risk with the Borg too. I thought letting Jurati do it, she did a fine job of connecting to the Borg Queen, but Patrick Stewart does little, but does very little in these scenes.
Yeah, Girardi actually did. I like Girardi in this so far in this episode too. So last 2 episodes now, I've actually enjoyed Girardi's character, which is surprising.
And she admits to feeling. I agree with you. She admits to feeling suicidal, and just kind of going through some of those human things that she's experiencing in the Borg Queen. And you mentioned it to me earlier, which you thought was a really good one. And I agree. Is when the Borg Queen made that comment? If you want to talk about it.
Yeah, when she said, "Oh, you've done something truly remarkable," and she's like,
"No,
"What's
dangerous."
That? Oh, dangerous. No. Was it dangerous?
Yeah.
No, impressive. I think she said.
Well, she started with dangerous because they flip you. Right. It started with basically she did something wrong.
Oh, right.
But we took it, and she's like, "You impressed me.
You impressed me.
Yeah, you did something very dangerous. You impressed me."
Right. Which is cool.
Which is cool because now we know, and of course from the clips we know that Girardi is going to be likely assimilated or taken over by the Queen in some way. And this is kind of the beginning of that. Picard's barely able to pull her out, right?
Yeah. Someone was in the first couple episodes. It looked as if they were blocking for like a pregnancy or something. But in this episode, that doesn't appear to be the case.
Yeah.
So for a minute there, I thought that maybe the actress in real life might have been pregnant, because in the first couple episodes, every shot was like in some way blocking for that,
right? And
it was obvious. So maybe it was around the time she shot. Maybe she was pregnant.
Maybe, yeah. The whole thing with Rios.
This moment when he was like, "Kevin sucks, bro. You're awesome."
That guy's been in Star Trek before.
Yeah, he has.
He was in Enterprise, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I recognize his face.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is, it was interesting. But the Rios stuff is I got to tell you, the Rios stuff is the only thing that really irritated me on the show really badly. And, he's having this whole thing. And by the way, he had like a little love thing going with Girardi, and now he's got this other romance going out here.
Bro, he's a red-blooded male, bro. Come on.
Hey, I'm down. I hear what you're saying, but it is a little bit weird. But what bothers me about this episode is that he has the opportunity to get his comm badge back multiple times and doesn't just take it. And he allows them to play with him, and then he ends up not being able to get it. And I thought, I don't know if that's very realistic. Like, if you're back in time, you're not going to use social niceties to not get your comm badge back. You're going to be like, "Hey, okay, no, you don't take it to the front. Give it to me now."
Yeah. By the way,
you know what I mean?
Like, you gotta think about it as like your phone. If that was your phone, would there be a moment hesitation when you just taking your phone back?
Well, especially if your phone was like the only way that you could possibly save your life because nobody knows where you're at.
Right.
And like, bad things are happening to you and you're injured, and it's weird. The kid has it, and then the lady has it, and then whoops, now it's really gone. So
yeah, why didn't he just take it from the kid? It's so weird.
They wanted to have this moment, which was pretty totally unnecessary. It was kind of a cool moment, between him and the kid, but how necessary was it to the show to have this moment where he does the cookies? He could have had a neat little quip with the kid and then taken the badge. Yeah. But I get it.
Give me my badge, kid.
Right. But it's the continuation of this, like, they're trying to force the story to go a certain direction. They want, of course, he ends up in jail or whatever, arrested because he tries to help her, and now he really doesn't have his comm badge, and they're probably going to have to come rescue him.
We already saw in the trailer that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole scene, I know there's some people that complain about other things, but my whole problem was, the comm badge was, like, stressing me out. I was like, why don't you just grab your comm badge? Because, like, I'm in my mind, I'm looking at it the same way I would look at my phone.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, you haven't just immediately picked up that badge, taken it out of someone's hand, and put it in your pocket is just confusing to me.
You could have still arrested him. But I really think they wanted to leave this episode on, like, a more of a dangerous note. Oh, he doesn't have his comm badge, and he's arrested. You know what I mean?
Right.
From me, my dear.
Whatever.
Just that moment.
Coordinates.
To find the Watcher.
Oh, well done.
I suppose I can almost.
Vastly more dangerous than you realize.
This is it right here.
It'll come to me.
Here it is.
What you have just done here is more difficult and vastly more dangerous than you realize.
And what is that?
You've impressed me.
Yeah.
That was a really cool line.
The Borg Queen is pretty terrifying.
The Borg Queen's doing awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be close to her. She's really killing it so far in the show.
Yeah, I am absolutely loving the Borg Queen right now. You know what I read on Reddit? I guess the actress that played the Borg Queen was in Voyager or something.
Oh, in this show?
No, yeah, the person playing the Borg Queen right now was in another Star Trek show. I'll tell you right now. And it would have been really cool if they had connected those characters somehow, like maybe she was assimilated.
Oh, I don't think that's the case. So yeah, Annie Wershing was in. Annie Wershing was in.
That dude, she looks familiar, but I can't remember where she. Oh yeah, she was.
Which episode was she in?
Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh, what did she play?
Liana.
Oh, okay. So no biggie.
Yeah,
so
look at this.
that's
Look at
definitely
this.
not it.
There she is.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's definitely not. She's not. There's no connection between the two characters, but.
No, but how cool would that have been, though? Imagine if she was like a simulated version of that character.
Yeah, maybe.
That's my headcanon.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I would say Annie Wershing and 7 of 9 are doing the best so far in the show.
Right.
And then I was digging Captain Rios, but now it's kind of fallen off a little bit. Girardi's doing good, but she's got so far to go to actually get us away from her character in season 1.
Yeah.
Rafi, I don't know. She's probably about the same. Elnor, he's dead, so obviously not as good.
Not for long. He's in that sweet Vulcan Romulus comatose stasis thing.
I don't want to talk about it.
He slows his heart rate down so you can't. So it appears as if he's dead because his heart's only beating like once every 10 minutes.
I don't put it past it, which is probably why it bothers me so much. Let's see what everybody's saying in the comments, huh?
All right.
What do we got here, folks?
That hat made me think Brian may be Doomcock. Whoa! No, I am not. I am not Doomcock.
Let's see.
All right, we got. I got the top here. Thoughts on Gay by Kirk rumor? Well, we'll get into that a little bit.
We're going to talk about that one.
Archmage Frey, Elnor transformed his Katra into the medallion.
But he didn't get the medallion, though. It never made it to him.
And they'll put him in a soon synthetic genetically altered.
Oh, come on. That's good, though. That's good.
Archmage, I think you and we're on the same page, bro. You're thinking the most ridiculous thing that fits Star Trek canon and go with there. I'm loving Annika Hansen. If you think about this for the first time in her life, since she was 5, she hasn't had any Borg influence. Yeah, now her implants are gone. That's a whole other thing. And then over in the members section, William Shatner's older than Picard. Patrick Stewart. That's true. That's true. And he said he'll be 91 on this 22nd of this month. Yeah, our father actually just had a birthday yesterday, and I was like, Dad, you okay? You know, you're walking funny. He goes, oh, I got this back problem. I'm like, remember, Dad, every time you start thinking you're old, remember, yesterday, William Shatner, at 95 years old, was on a horse. Filming on a horse after going in space a month ago.
He went in space, Dad. He went in space.
So stop limping and start getting with it.
Suck it up, Pop.
Yeah, so that's it. Let us know what you guys thought about Star Trek in the comment section. On the way down there, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and hit the like button too. In fact, everyone here, please hit the like button so we get this thing out there to the ethos.